What up, guys? Welcome to another AMA. We are crushing it this week. We had a busy week at Santa Cruz Paleo. We launched the natural pre-workout. This stuff is absolutely amazing. Gives you a really good pump, gives you good focus at the gym. I think strawberry sold out, Island Punch is sold out. There's still a few flavors on Amazon and on our website. We also launched the beef tallow beeswax chapstick. That stuff is great. And we restocked some electrolytes. So if you want to get some Santa Cruz Paleo goodies, go for it. Today, we're going to be diving into a variety of topics with your health, with wellness, with everything, man. So let's dive in. You've left your questions below. Let's get into it. This question is, Brendan, what lab tests are some good ones to get run? So I've done a lot of posting about lab testing recently, basically explaining how the whole medical system is messed up because if you try to go get lab tests done, your doctor will basically oftentimes not let you get them done because they can get sued, basically, because if they give a healthy person a hormone test, the insurance company can sue them. This is terrible. What lab tests can you go get done on your own? Well, what I would recommend is a vitamin D test. This is extremely affordable. It should be around 20 to 40 bucks, vitamin D test. A hormone profile. You can't just get testosterone done. You need estrogen, SHBG, estradiol. Another critical test that I would get done is a full gut panel. What I mean by a gut panel is there are companies where you literally mail in your shit, bro. You mail in your shit, okay? And they analyze it and they tell you what is going on in your gut. Personally, I like going through my functional medicine doctor for this because once I get the results, he can interpret them and tell me some protocols to do, either with supplements or with diet. So I work with a guy. You could work with him too. If you look up Dr. Justin Marchigiani or Justin Health, he's a functional medicine doctor in Austin, Texas. He sees me via Zoom, and I go over my results with him. But whatever, I don't even work with the guy in that way. But he's amazing. But this stuff is expensive. So hormone tests, gut tests, vitamin D. There's also C-reactive protein, which is a good inflammatory biomarker. HbA1c, which is a really good blood sugar marker, which you should really try to have below 5.5. So yeah, those are some good lab tests right there. Good question. Brendan, I'm a very serious athlete and I have reoccurring ringworm. He's probably a wrestler or grappler of some sort, and he has ringworm coming back. Ringworm is a skin infection that is oftentimes caused by being on a mat or just having sweat on your body. There's staph infection, there's ringworm, there's all types of diseases you can get through being an athlete. And it's tough for people, and it's not because they're dirty. Sometimes it is because they're dirty and don't shower, but oftentimes just being an athlete, let's say you have a practice at this time and then you kind of have a practice or another training session a few hours later. Oftentimes it's impossible to shower and, fully clean yourself before the next session. It happens. So what I think is going on if you have constant reoccurring ringworm or any other skin infection is you basically have some type of bacteria issue that you need to look into. There are herbs that you can take like wormwood. It is called wormwood. Look into that. Try to find a functional medicine doctor who will work with you on this type of stuff. But for example, for myself, I've taken wormwood before to deal with a gut infection, and it really worked. So you can look into stuff like that. If you want something simple that you could just try, probably what I would do is take some spoonfuls of coconut oil. There are some fatty acids in coconut oil that are really, really antibacterial and antifungal. That could help, but you may want to look into an herbal protocol because if that ringworm is reoccurring, it's not just oh, you're getting it again. You're just getting that reactivated in your body over and over again. So look into that. Brendan, I keep getting cold sore breakouts. What are some things that can help with that? So there is something so simple that can help with cold sore breakouts, and it's vitamin C combined with L-lysine. L-lysine is an amino acid, and vitamin C is vitamin C. So if you combine those, taking 2 to 3 grams of lysine per day is what I would do, and some vitamin C, that could really help with cold sores. There's research on this as well, so look into that. And lysine's super easy to get. You can get it anywhere. You want to take it on sort of a more empty stomach because it is an amino acid. Look into that. Okay, this guy says he went to a physiotherapist with elbow tendonitis, some tendonitis in the tricep, and the guy told him to take a bunch of Advil and leave. Dude, these physiotherapists, there are really good physiotherapists out there. And if you're somebody who's into, personal training or physiotherapy, comment below if you're one of those good people that's on the ball with the research. Unfortunately, there are so many that are horrible. I injured my neck one time, a couple years ago at jiu-jitsu, and I went to Kaiser, honestly, just to kind of see what they were saying, because I have my experts that I go to. Kaiser, they literally told me, oh, do neck circles with your neck. Yeah, bro, I just had a 200-pound guy sprawl on my neck and I have a pinched nerve. I think it is so outdated, it's insane. And they're just hampered by that whole insurance industry. They can't really tell you to do anything experimental. So what I would do if I got tendonitis is first I would look up FRC elbow. you can look up functional range conditioning elbow. That's what that stands for. And start doing some of those exercises, because that is some of the best things for actually training your tendons. There's also something called banded stretches. This is something that I have in my routine. You go on Amazon or something and you get pull-up assist bands. It's not some little band. It's like a thick band. They're usually meant for people doing pull-ups to give them weight, added weight or less weight actually, so they can do more pull-ups. You get pull-up assist bands and you start to do a series of banded stretches and really get into those tendons and ligaments there and open everything up. You do want to give your elbow some time to rest, but you need to start doing those exercises ASAP. Another supplement you can look into is N-acetylglucosamine. N-acetylglucosamine is going to help that synovial fluid production that basically coats our joints, elbow, like area, all that type of stuff. That is what I would look into. And if you want something short term for inflammation, what I would look into is turmeric. We make a combo turmeric CBD capsule. If you look up Santa Cruz Medicinals turmeric caps, those are one of our most popular products for pain. But honestly, not even just trying to push you our products. You can go get turmeric at almost any grocery store ever and take it. I only take turmeric short term. Very dumb thing for someone who sells turmeric to tell you, but you don't need to use this supplement long term. I use it when I get some inflammation, when I get injured, because it is so powerful that you don't constantly want to be suppressing your inflammatory levels. Inflammation isn't good or bad. Unchecked chronic inflammation is bad, and short-term inflammation can be good. That's how your muscles grow. That's how your body repairs. So manage some of that inflammation with some turmeric, get on the FRC exercises, go get some massage, deep tissue work. Get on those exercises ASAP, though. Let me know how it goes. Brendan, you have just ran out of reverse osmosis water. Let's say my reverse osmosis filter explodes and I don't have it anymore. What does Brendan do? Well, this is a very, very valid question. Here's what I do. If I am in a place where the tap water is not ideal, which is almost everywhere. My buddy did just get a place in Tahoe, and when you look up the tap water in Tahoe, it's not that bad. So on that one right there, up in his Tahoe house, what we did is get him a 5-stage water filter, but it's not reverse osmosis because his water quality is actually good. But that's rare. Look up your city's tap water, ewg.org/tap water. So if I'm in a normal city with bad tap water, I have a couple options. When I travel, I'll go buy a bunch of these. But let's be real, I just started doing that in the last few years now that I have some money. What I would do before that is I would go buy the 5-gallon or the 1-gallon plastic jugs of water. And I'm buying spring water. And the downside of that is they're in plastic, but I get those 1-gallon big jugs of plastic spring water, and that is what I drink. If I lived in that area, like what I did when I had an apartment and I didn't have the money for a reverse osmosis filter, I had those big 5-gallon now jugs, and I got BPA-free plastic jugs with a spigot. You can Google that, bro. They sell them. They'll sell them to you online, or you can build them yourself. Some people do them themselves, but you look up 5-gallon BPA-free jug with spigot. You then take those to Sprouts, Whole Foods. I've seen Crystal Geyser stations outside of Safeway and CVS before, and it's a few pennies. I think it's like 25 to 50 cents to fill up a 5-gallon thing. And I would put that thing under the they have reverse osmosis massive filters at Whole Foods. I would fill that up. I'd throw in a little sea salt. Sometimes I would throw in a little electrolytes. Back in the day, we didn't have our salt-based electrolytes, but that's what I would do now. And there you go. I would fill 2 of them up. That would give me 10 gallons of really high-quality water. So try that out. We got a few questions on this, and basically it's, Brendan, how do I bulk while maintaining good skin health? I think this is because a lot of people, when they bulk, they try to eat a lot of food and they maybe get some skin issues. Here's exactly what I would do. I bulk on my diet. It's very, very, very easy to do. People always ask that. How do I bulk eating healthy? How do I do it? It's called eating more healthy fats. Fats are 9 calories per gram, whereas carbohydrates are 4. Protein is 4. If you want to bulk on this diet, what you do is you eat, let's say you're eating a steak. Under that steak, you have rice with butter or rice with olive oil, and you don't be shy with that olive oil or butter. You are going to be able to get a massive amount of calories in. Fruit, maple syrup, honey, all those type of foods, full fat dairy, again, you're getting those fats in there. It is very easy to get to a calorie surplus without eating bad foods, because a lot of people say to me, well, I have to eat bread, I have to eat cereal because I'm bulking. You don't have to do that, okay? Trust me, I've done it. I've put on muscle. I've been in a calorie surplus before on this diet. It is very easy to do. If you're trying to limit your fats and do it, yeah, that's difficult. But there's no need to limit your, grass-fed butter or extra virgin olive oil or a little bit of coconut oil or some full-fat dairy. Honestly, the nutrients in there are going to help your skin in so many ways. Try that out. Brendan, I'm in the UK, bruv, and there's no sun whatsoever. What do you think of getting some artificial sunlight through what they are referring to as a tanning bed? What can you do? So What I prefer over a tanning bed is getting some red light. You can buy these little red light devices. Right now, I'm using a Juve red light, just running some experiments with it, honestly, because there's some cool research on it. That is going to actually wake up your circadian rhythm and get a lot of those benefits through near infrared and through red light. Now, tanning beds, I don't know. I need to do more research on it. I just saw a guy doing some posts on it, citing some reference articles showing that it did increase vitamin D levels, which is very interesting to me. I have been in a tanning bed before, and what I thought was kind of strange with it was the light was very, very intense, and it only took like 3 to 4 minutes. What I would be interested in is if there's a way to get in a tanning bed where the light is a little not as intense, and maybe it takes 8 to 10 minutes. So let me know below if you have any information on that. I do not think tanning beds are one of these things that, oh my God, it instantly causes cancer like you've been told, or tanning beds lead to cancer. I think with a lot of people, if you take subject A and they eat a diet full of processed seed oils, full of processed sugar, they're extremely metabolically unhealthy, and you put that person in a tanning bed or just in the sunlight, okay? And you take subject B, they eat an extremely healthy diet, rich in omega-3 fatty acids, low in omega-6, and they have good inflammatory levels, good blood sugar. They're a healthy, metabolically healthy human being, and you put that person in a tanning bed or the sunlight. What do you think will happen with this person versus this person? In my opinion, this person can have cancer develop. I think this person probably won't. This is why you see it all spread out about skin cancer, and we don't have any conclusive evidence. And it also started to massively expand in the 1970s as we switched from eating real fat to seed oils, and we started eating more processed food and being more unhealthy. I mean, I don't know. I have questions about the whole sun causes cancer myth, in my opinion. So let me know what you think. But yeah, tanning beds, interesting. Go for it. Try it out. It's probably not going to kill you. Brendan, what are your thoughts on sugar alcohols such as erythritol? So erythritol can sometimes be derived from corn, which I'm really not the biggest fan of. This is why we go with stevia and monk fruit in our products. And there's been a lot of these keto products that have come out that are just loaded with sugar alcohols. Like they throw so much in there. For many people, those can cause gut distress. And I'm a little wary about what those hyper sweet, like anybody who's had our electrolytes knows they aren't hyper sweet. They're salty, there's a little touch of sweetness, but we don't like dump, like it's not a stevia powder. It is a little tiny touch of stevia in there. I would be concerned about doing anything where you're consuming a massive amount of sugar alcohols, especially if it's erythritol, which is derived from corn, oftentimes GMO corn. So I would limit them. I don't think they're the worst thing in the world if you have them sometimes, but a massive amount, Brendan, do you avoid any vegetables because of their anti-nutrients? So when we look into some raw vegetables, I do avoid some raw vegetables. People have gotten really crazy with this, eating raw broccoli, eating a bunch of salads with tons of raw greens, stuff like that. I'm really not a fan of that. And when I do that, I get gut distress. And I think this is a clear sign that my body just doesn't really like a lot of those raw vegetables. I don't really avoid vegetables that are properly prepared because I'm not worried about the anti-nutrients in them. What I don't go to vegetables towards is a source of nutrients. I mean, yes, they have nutrition, they have value, they have fiber, they have phytonutrients, they have polyphenols. I will eat veggies in my diet when they fit within a meal. Okay, so like if I'm cooking an Asian stir fry and I throw some bok choy in there, awesome, that's great. Beef stew, carrots, onions, celery, awesome, delicious. What I don't do is go, oh, I need some nutrition. Let me eat a bunch of broccoli. That's just not what I do because I know that I can eat a small portion of something like grass-fed beef or, some other foods, and it'll be more nutrient dense. But I do not avoid vegetables. I don't think anti-nutrients, like Saladino has said, are going to wreck your body. For some people that are dealing with autoimmune issues, they might have some success cutting out some vegetables. However, in my diet, I add in a normal amount of vegetables. I eat foods like potatoes. I eat onions. I eat garlic. So I'm not an anti-nutrient guy. Brendan, we see that a lot of studies are completely biased. I mean, over the last week, I've been exposing this You Are What You Eat documentary on Netflix. You guys see that documentary? Man, it came out and they're like, we gave one twin a vegan diet and one twin an omnivore diet. And the vegan guy was healthier. Eat vegan, eat fake meat. And it turns out it was funded by Beyond Beef. And it was also funded by the Vogt Foundation, which is a guy who invests in Beyond Beef, Impossible Foods. He makes money when you buy these processed meat alternatives. And the research was done at the Stanford Plant-Based Diet Initiative, which is funded by Beyond Beef. And these two groups got together, Vogt Foundation, Stanford Plant-Based Diet Initiative, and they put out another horrible docuseries about, oh, you should eat a vegan diet. So, Brennan, how do we source through this information? What I think you need to do is I think reading studies is very interesting. I think looking at data is very interesting. You have to combine common sense and how you feel with the research that is out there. Okay. So if you just believe only studies and you just only go off the studies, you might read something like red meat causes heart disease. We gathered a group of 500,000 people who eat red meat and they had higher rates of heart disease. You should not eat red meat. And if you read that, you might go, wow, man, I should stop eating red meat. When you look deeper into it and you realize that they just surveyed a bunch of people, and then you use common sense to think about the people they surveyed. What does the average group of 500,000 Americans look like? Well, they're obese. We know that. They're not metabolically healthy. About 20% of them have diabetes. About 30 to 40% are pre diabetic. About 70% of these people are overweight or obese. So let me see. Are they eating grass fed steaks and working out? No? No, what's going on? Where are they getting the red meat from? McDonald's? Use your common sense, okay? And then also go off how you feel. For me, the research I've said isn't really there on aspartame and artificial sweeteners being that bad. There's some research that's sort of damning. When I drink them, I get a severe headache. I do not feel good. So, hey, even if you're like, yo, Brendan, when I have your whey protein, I get a headache or I get nausea. I tell those people, dude, don't buy my whey protein then. Now, we don't really hear that often. We have some of the highest quality whey protein in the world, but maybe that person has a dairy intolerance. That might not be for you. You might need to go towards a beef isolate protein. So do what makes you feel good, use common sense, and read some of the data. Brendan, if I turn my shower nozzle to cold after taking a hot shower, will I still get all the benefits of cold exposure? So you'll get a lot of the benefits. I actually always do this. I have not taken a shower in probably over a decade where I haven't ended the shower with cold water. Now, some days that's just a little bit of cold water, and most days I really try to stand there for like a minute. I really get a little cold until it's a little bit uncomfortable. The reason I do this every single time is because it's really good for your skin and hair health. It sort of just seals up all the pores, makes your hair nice and shiny and soft. So I always do that. It just provides a little boost of energy. It's just amazing for your skin health. But as far as cold exposure benefits, you really need to get to that area where you're shivering for some of those cold exposure benefits. So you probably aren't getting that deep. You can, especially nowadays. Let me know how cold it is where you are right now, but it's cold across the United States, unless you're in Florida right now. I mean, California's not that bad right now, but it's cold. So that shower is probably getting really, really cold, 30, 40 degrees maybe. So if you stay in there for 2, 3 minutes, you might start to shiver a little bit, and then you will be getting the benefits of that cold exposure. Wow. So this guy says he's 15 years old and he has an extremely receding hairline. And he's like, this is bad. It's looking really bad. My hair looks like it's like a, balding mid 30-year-old or something like that. What can he do? So what you can do immediately is go get your DHT tested. This is dihydrotestosterone. This is correlated with hair loss, and if for some reason you have a hormone abnormality that's going on that's causing a massive amount of DHT, that can maybe lead to hair loss, especially at, 15, you have a receding hairline. I would definitely go get a full hormone panel and a thyroid panel. Look into that. And if your doctor won't run those labs, it's very unfortunate. They oftentimes won't run those labs. Ask them to. You might have to like make up that you have some health condition going on to get those labs done, or just go to a functional medicine doctor where you have to pay out of pocket for it. Again, I go to my guy Justin Health. You could probably work with him, but find anybody that will do that lab test for you. What I would also do is probably start rosemary oil on your hair. There is some evidence that rosemary oil can block DHT on the scalp, and it's a very low risk thing to do. So you can get some rosemary oil, put it on your hair at night, rub it into that receding area, and try that. Also, just make sure you're eating enough red meat because carnitine and other nutrients found in red meat have been shown to help with hair growth. So try those things. Let me know how it goes. Good luck. Brendan, my doctor told me that consuming electrolytes every day is bad and I should only be drinking them if I'm extremely dehydrated from being sick or maybe an intense sport activity. What do you think about that? Well, again, you have found one of the many doctors who is just about keeping you alive versus human optimization. Okay, listen, food contains electrolytes. If you eat watermelon, it contains electrolytes. There are so many different types of electrolytes that keep us healthy, hydrated, keep our nerve signals running, keep our muscles firing. Electrolytes are essential. If you didn't have any electrolytes in your body, you would cease to exist. Now, what do I think about them just saying you just need them when you're extremely dehydrated? I think that's really dumb because it has been shown that being even slightly dehydrated can lead to less reaction time, muscle cramping, poor blood flow. There's no downside in my mind of supplementing with some electrolytes. Okay. So if you just want to do 1 or 2 scoops of these per day, just even while you're doing a normal workout, you're going to have some performance benefit. It's a bummer that doctors aren't really focused on human optimization, but they see a lot of patients, man. And like, if you're not dying, you know what I mean? They're not really going to give you some advice to like optimize your health. They could get in trouble sometimes if they're like, hey, you should look into an electrolyte supplement or something like that. And then you maybe drink this whole bottle or something. And they're like, my doctor told me to take this. Like, they have to be very careful with stuff. So they're just not dialed in with human optimization. Drink your electrolytes. Brennan, is sugar really that bad, or is it just when it's processed and consumed regularly? So sometimes a lot of people hit me up and they're like, hey, Brennan, this product I have, I really like it. It has like a couple grams of cane sugar. Yeah, in all honesty, man, that's not the worst thing ever, especially if you're an athlete or something like that and you're burning through a lot of calories, a lot of carbohydrates. I'm not some guy that's like, oh my God, there's a few grams of cane sugar, throw it out. That's not me. I rag on processed sugar because what is the reality, guys? Let's be real with ourselves. What is the reality of processed sugar in this country? People are over consuming it. We have obesity issues. We have a massive epidemic of eczema, acne, diabetes. People aren't consuming a few grams of cane sugar per day. Processed sugar has been shown to be bad for your gut microbiome. It's not something that I want to increase in my diet. So if it somehow works its way into my diet, I eat a piece of a dark chocolate or something that has some cane sugar in there, whatever. But purposely being like, okay, I'm going to eat processed sugar is generally not a good idea. So if you have your life dialed in, you're an athlete or something like that, and you're in great shape and you want to have a little bit of sugar, no, I don't think it's the worst thing in the world. But overall, I'm going to continue hating on processed sugar because of the reality of the situation. Okay, this guy says, Brennan, he wants to run some gut tests, but should he just go take the test and not consult with a doctor or gastroenterologist? What should he do? So I think you could go to your doctor and have a conversation with them and say, hey, I'm having some gut issues. I want to run a gut panel. If they're very resistant to that, you might just need to go get the test done yourself. And then what I would do is find a functional medicine doctor that you could send those results to, and they can talk to you about them. There are plenty of functional medicine doctors out there. I've been talking about this a lot lately. But yeah, you can run a gut panel on your own and then get those results and sort of, you can do your own research on stuff, but the gut is pretty complex, I would say. So unlike hormones, where there seems to be a lot of information about hormones out there that you can find, gut is a little more complicated. There's some basic things with the gut that you might see on that test that you can dial in. Oh, your good gut bacteria is a little low. Okay, maybe add in some more fermented foods, some more yogurt. Your bad bacteria is high. Okay, maybe you might want to do like a small intestinal bacterial overgrowth cleanse, or start using a little bit of like monolaurin is a product that's derived from coconut that's like antifungal, antibacterial. You can dial in some of that stuff yourself if you're really smart, but honestly, if you have the money, I'd probably shell out I don't know how much your functional medicine doctor would be if you can find one. With my guy, I think it would be probably around like $200 to $500 to go over a gut test with him. It's not cheap. It sucks. But yeah, that's the honest truth, and you should probably have somebody look over it. This guy asked a kind of funny one. Brendan, is sleeping with your head under the covers bad for you? So if you do breathe your air under the covers the whole night, that can be some issues. You're going to be breathing in recycled air. I personally wouldn't do that, but a thing I want to talk about is dialing in your sort of sleep setup. I would recommend having a humidifier in your room that you sleep in, because the air right now in the winter is dry and cold, and that can really be bad for your sleep. And yeah, I wouldn't really sleep with my head right under the covers. Kind of weird question, bro, but let me know if that helps. Brandon, your friend Dylan Latham says to use sunscreen if you go out in the sun, and you say to get out in the sun with no sunscreen. I don't really say that necessarily. If you're going to get a small amount of sun, I don't think you need to lather your body up in chemical-based sunscreens. However, I am a fan of mineral-based sunscreens if you're getting a lot of sun exposure. What is the difference? A mineral-based sunscreen, the active ingredient is non-nano zinc oxide. In chemical-based sunscreens, the active ingredient is homosalate, octocrylene, octosalate, these chemicals that are bad in my opinion, and it can cross the blood-brain barrier. And in my humble opinion, I think these chemicals in 20 years will be banned. They're already banned in Hawaii for damaging the reefs, because when people go in the ocean with those chemical sunscreens lathered all over them, they are so bad they kill fish and destroy the reefs. What do you think is going to happen to your own skin if you lather that on your body every single day? Not a fan of it, especially when there's another option available, non-nano zinc sunscreens. We're working on formulating one right now that's going to be non-nano zinc oxide and beef tallow. And if I'm going surfing or something, or I'm in Mexico, I will put some of that on. I also prefer to put something on like a t-shirt to give myself SPF, because yes, a t-shirt will give your body SPF because you're blocking the sun. That is what I prefer to do. I am not afraid of the sun. If I'm not going to get burnt, I typically do not put on sunscreen. How do you get over guilt with slip-ups in diet, like eating out, eating a bunch of processed seed oils? How do you get over that guilt? So I don't really have that guilt because I'm able to just sort of hone in my mind and not go off. I don't have these things where I go eat a bunch of donuts or I go eat a bunch of pizza or something like that. I literally don't do that. You can ask any one of my friends, ask anybody in my life. That's just not something that I do. Now, what's a way better option is I go about it in a calculated way. A couple weeks ago, I was craving a steak sandwich on sourdough. So I sourced some high quality sourdough bread and I made a steak sandwich. That is what you can do. You can be calculated about this. If you are out of shape and you are just going off and eating cheat meals day after day and you're getting more out of shape, you need to hone in your diet and you need to probably have a strict diet. There's so many people today that'll tell you, don't do a strict diet. Oh no, you're going to fall off your goals if you try to do a strict diet. It's bullshit. If you are overweight, you need to do a strict diet. So go 30 days and don't eat one cheat meal. 30 days of your life. Come on. And people will stitch this video or whatever, as they always do, and go, this is dangerous advice because a study showed that when we let people have cheat meals, they stuck to their goals. Dude, get the fuck out of here. Just eat healthy for 30 days straight and then start to incorporate some cheat meals if you really want. I'm not really a fan of that. Brendan, what do you think about nuts? Hey, yo, like almonds, macadamia nuts, walnuts, that type of stuff. So I think they're okay. I would not try to make them your main source of protein. They are really rich in phytic acid. And of course, people will attack this and be like, phytic acid isn't bad. There's studies showing phytic acid is good. And yeah, I don't avoid walnuts or almonds or something like that. But for me, one time we made a Santa Cruz Paleo trail mix. The product didn't work because we added sugar-free little chocolate chips. And when we would ship it to people, they would melt in the summer. So we discontinued that product. However, when we were formulating that, there were times where I would be eating so much trail mix, bro, because, we're testing it out. Like immense amount of trail mix, like a lot, like a couple bags per day. And I got some of the worst skin and gut issues ever, bro, because I was consuming probably a lot of phytic acid from those nuts over and over again. So if you have a little bit here and there or have some almond milk or something like that, I don't think there's any issues with that at all. However, if you're trying to like make a large portion of your protein source come from those, you could experience issues. See how you feel. Brendan, how can I combat leg day nausea? So first of all, props to you if you're getting leg day nausea, because this means one of two things. If you're getting nausea during the workout, it means that you're probably going hard, which you should be doing during leg day. If you're getting nausea before you even go to the gym, it means you have developed such a daunting leg day that you're getting that mental nausea. That's cool, okay? Here's how you can combat it. Electrolytes are one of the best things you can do to prevent headaches and nausea during a workout. This is research. This is studied. You need to be on some good salt-based electrolytes. The other thing is you need to start to control your breathing. For many people, nausea is a cascade of norepinephrine, cortisol, adrenaline, and if you learn to control your breathing, that can be a huge help. So what I would do is incorporate a nice long warm-up before your leg day. Okay, so I want you to walk on a treadmill and just breathe. I want you to open up your hips with some stretches. I want you to start it with some light warm-up sets. And then I want you to go hard on legs. Make sure you're spending plenty of rest time in between sets, which can help with nausea, and control your breathing. Get that heart rate down, and then get after it. But hey, a little nausea during a set of hack squats, that's just life. All right, guys, that is it for this week's AMA. We are headed to San Diego this weekend, and yeah, I'm super stoked for that. We're doing a meetup at Surf Lounge in San Diego, so come out. I'm going to be handing out electrolytes to the first 50 people there. I'm going to be with Organic Tarzan. Going to be with Dylan O'Brien, I think, maybe Kay Shami, some other folks. So it should be fun out there. Come out, say what up. And yeah, man, stay healthy, get after it. I'm going to try to release the tubs of whey protein later this month. There's still some pre-workout in stock. Kiwi, lemonade, orange. Maybe by the time you're watching this, mango are in stock. Go try them out. Get some electrolytes. Creatine's back in stock. Food of the Gods in stock. Deep sleep caps we just restocked. All that stuff will go fast. Try some goodies out. Take care of your health, and I'll talk to you soon.